Welcome to that turkey video I promised. I hope you're ready to make an awesome turkey. Before I started, I cleaned and sterilized my sink. Make sure you do that step. Now I'm just going to cut off this tag and I'm going to set it aside so I don't forget how much this turkey weighs. The turkey will get a good rinsing. You'll need to clean and sterilize again after this because it splatters everywhere. Under the flap of skin where the neck is, you will find a bag of innards. I'm going to take those out and set them aside in a clean bowl. Inside the main cavity of the turkey, you'll find the neck. Set that aside with the innards. Now that our turkey is rinsed, let's start the brine. I began with 8 cups of water. Now add 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of table salt, 1/2 cup of chicken bouillon, 2 tablespoons garlic salt, 1 tablespoon celery salt. I actually had just barely less than I needed, but I think it'll be okay. 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of thyme, 2 tablespoons Dalmatian sage. You can use regular sage if that's what you have. They do taste different. I just kind of prefer the Dalmatian sage myself. Two tablespoons onion powder, 1 tablespoon rosemary. I've just been putting it all in this cup out of convenience. You don't have to do it that way. You could put it directly in the pot. 2 tablespoons Italian seasoning. 1 tablespoon fresh ground pepper. I just eyeballed this. I kind of do it that way sometimes. 3 bay leaves. 3 tablespoons of ranch powder, and 1 tablespoon each of hickory and mesquite liquid smoke. Now we're going to put this on the stove and bring it to a boil. Boil it about 5 minutes to release the oils inside the dried herbs. Then take it off the stove and let it cool to room temperature. Once it's at room temperature, add more water until you equal 36 cups. Now I'm going to place my turkey in the brine, breast side down, making sure it's fully submerged. We will cover this up and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. After you remove it from the fridge the next day, drain off all the water. I managed to knock my dish scrubber down into the sink under the turkey water, so I guess I'll have to sterilize that. Over in the next sink, I have the bottom of a Dutch oven that I have lightly sprayed with cooking spray. After making sure the majority of the water is out of my turkey, I'm going to place it in that Dutch oven with the breast side facing up. Then stand there helplessly until somebody comes and turns on the water and gives me soap. Now we will start the butter sauce. In a small food processor, put 3 cloves of garlic, 1/2 of a small yellow onion, 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon rosemary, 1 tablespoon Italian seasoning, 1 tablespoon basil, 2 tablespoons ranch powder. I also added 1 tablespoon of Dalmatian sage, but it looks like I accidentally cut that footage out. 1/2 tablespoon or 2 teaspoons sesame oil, 2 tablespoons real mayo, and then you want to blend this for a long time. You want to break down those dried herbs as much as possible. I almost forgot a very important ingredient. I need to add 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Now, more blending. I'm going to quarter 1 small yellow onion and slice up 1 medium Granny Smith apple. For now, I'm going to remove the little thermometer that comes in the turkey. Now for the kind of gross part. You want to stick your hand in between the skin and the meat of the turkey and loosen the skin from the meat. I told you it was gross, but it's worth it, trust me. I'm going to make sure not to break the connection right here along the breastbone to hold the skin in place so it doesn't peel back and expose the turkey breast, and let it dry out. You also want to make sure you get down around the legs and thighs as much as you can. Be careful not to rip the skin. Now we just start scooping in our butter mixture. We're going to use about 3/4 of it inside the turkey between the skin and the meat. Rub it in really well all over the place. Rub the remaining butter mixture all over the outside of the turkey, covering as much of the skin as you can get to. We are going to place the apple and onion that we cut up inside the turkey. These are great on their own, or you can add them to dressing later. Just gonna pop that little thermometer right back in, going for the fattest part of the breast, getting it in as deep as I can. Now I'm going to put foil on my turkey. I'm going to make sure to press it in around the edges, making sure that any moisture that might escape my turkey gets diverted back into the pan under the turkey. Make sure you cover the entire turkey this way. And then we put the lid on the Dutch oven. We are going to put the turkey in a 325-degree oven. It is recommended you cook your turkey for 15 minutes per pound, but I usually check my turkey about 30 minutes before it should be done. About an hour before the turkey is done, I usually start the dressing mix. I'll start off by scrambling this mild breakfast sausage. Once it is cooked enough it's no longer clumping together, I'll add about 1.5 cups of chopped celery. I will cook that down until they are just barely translucent, and then I'm going to add some dried cranberries. Any kind will work. Here I'm using the orange infused kind, just because I really like that flavor. I add about 1 cup. The last thing I add are some roasted chestnuts. Of course, these have been shelled and chopped. After the meat is done cooking, I'm going to add 1 cup of water to the mixture. This will help reconstitute the cranberries just barely so they aren't totally tough and chewy. We cook this down until the water has completely evaporated, and then we're going to set the sausage mixture aside. I'm going to put just enough olive oil in this pan to cover the bottom. With the burner at medium-high heat, I'm going to add my innards. I will cover this with a lid and cook them for about 5 minutes, turning once. Then I will remove them to a plate and let them cool enough that I can chop them up. Once they're cool enough, just give them a rough chop. We're going to cook them more, don't panic. We're going to put them back in the pan at medium-high heat, and we're going to fry them until they are nice and brown and crispy on the outside. Like this. Now I'll pour the sausage mixture in the pan with the innards and cover it with a lid and just let it set until I'm ready for it. I've pulled out my turkey 30 minutes early to check on it, like I said I would. As you can see, the thermometer has popped, but I'm going to check it with my own thermometer just to make sure. And it's done! Very carefully, I'm going to pour the juices off the turkey into this deep pan. We'll use these juices for our dressing. The turkey will then go back in the oven without the foil, but with the lid, for another 5 minutes or so. Using 1 bag each of sage and onion and herb seasoned Pepperidge Farms stuffing. Just pour them right into the juice and give them a good stir. If after you're done stirring it up, you don't feel like it has enough juice in it, add a little water or chicken stock. Now I'm going to add my sausage mixture and stir that in really well. Then using the back of my spoon, I press the dressing down into the pan. I usually cook this on about 350 degrees for about 10 or 15 minutes. Ta-da! Our turkey. Isn't she lovely, ladies and gentlemen? So delicious. I cannot wait to eat this. Guys, you should let your meat set for like at least 10 minutes before you cut it, but I really needed to try a bite right now. And just a few minutes behind the turkey, our dressing is also ready. Don't forget to try some of those apples and onions that are on the inside of your turkey. This turkey is flavorful, juicy, and delicious. I've changed a lot of minds with this turkey. If you enjoyed this video, be sure you like and subscribe. See you next weekend!